Alrighty, alrighty. I'm gonna continue this let's talk thing since football season is winding down, and there is no Kentucky breakdowns. There's none of that to do, and I think I promised it. Um, After the Louisville debacle, that we would do, we would meet up on occasion. What's up? I am a Gator. I am a Gator. Hit me up to who you are. Are you a true Gator fan? Or you are a Kentuckian that is a Gator alum? I'm interested because I'm interested why you are interested in watching little old me. I appreciate you tuning in though. So, what are we going to talk about today? What we're going to talk about today a little bit is how well women's sports are doing at Kentucky. How well and how much women's sports are carrying the athletic department right now. If you didn't watch or didn't know of the women's basketball game this weekend, we played Belmont in Indiana on the road, and I'm gonna say I honestly think that is the kind of game that we needed. Didn't play our best on the road, but found a way to win. Uh, what's interesting about basketball, both sides of the gender spectrum, is how important fit is in everything. It's like when if you watch The Locker Wednesdays 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself and Anthony White, I made a statement a couple years ago about how the Oscar Sheway team, the fits were a little odd. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, how much talent you have, athleticism, etc. If they don't fit together, the pieces of the puzzle is so important in basketball. Unless you have a dude, and when I mean a dude, a straight dude. If you don't have a straight dude, the pieces have to fit together. Last year pieces fit together better than this year pieces have fit together. Although, like I said on the locker last week, it is hard. It is extremely difficult to analyze this team until they get all the pieces in a puzzle on the board together. So for me, I think this team is a little disjointed because all the pieces have not played together and all the pieces are not in alignment yet. But this women's team, well, Kenny Brooks, and this is the same. Now all this pre talking. This is Kenny Brooks is special with his ability to find the right pieces. And if you have, I guess it's not no evolution because this is only his second year, but his additions to the to his squad made sense. And like I said last year, I really think if they had Obi last year, they go far in the tournament. And her injury hurt that team more than most people will give it credit for. But all the pieces fit together. Getting Asia Boone fit perfectly for what he wanted. Getting Tony Morgan fit perfectly for what he wants. All the pieces fit together. And the what's up, Patrick? The the great thing is that when he came from Vitek, he was able to bring key players with him to smooth out the transition. When bringing Strack, bringing Georgia, obviously, made that transition easier. Johnny Key is such a I don't want to say she's not a glue piece, but her importance is understated. That team with Hassett, man, like all those Hassett was what, JUCO? Like to get those players, Johnny Key was not doing anything at UNC. To see that potential and understand that it fits your scheme and your concepts to a T, man, is so underrated. And when we lost Georgia, I thought we was going to be in trouble. But then he goes get Tony Morgan, and not as dynamic as Georgia as far as scoring, but is dynamic as far as fit in that point guard position and not really creating a hiccup. But that leads to me saying that that's the tough part with. I know I said this many times, but Will Stein is not coming from another situation where he can bring players automatically from where he was previously to smooth the transition. Someone asked me, who asked me about the DC hire? Like I said last time, Brooks Penny. Brooks, I said it, I guess it was last week, Friday. It's hard to know about the coaches until you see the players that they bring in. I just don't. There are a lot of fans who harp on coaches when it's more about players. This is two things I'm gonna really pinpoint. Like Stoops gets, it's kind of weird. I've said this many times too. It's kind of weird how Stoops got all the blame with the offense when things were not good, but then got no credit when things were good. When things were not good, he was calling offensive plays. When things were good, it was quiet. When Liam was doing great with Will Levis and Wandale Robinson, no one said a peep about Stoops calling plays. Now with Scangarello and now Bush comes, now it's his fault. Not much trying to keep a lot of football coach eyes. Yeah, man, this football is getting crazy now. Um, so what's gonna happen is, for example, Shannon Dawson was here, didn't have the guys to run what he want. And I'm a Shannon Dawson fan because Shannon Dawson is from Louisiana, blah blah blah. So I have known of the Dawson family for a while because they Clinton, Louisiana, not that far from us. I know people in that area. Um, that's a great quote, Stephen. Success is 1,000 fathers, but failure is an orphan. That's a good damn. That's a damn good quote, Steve. I'm still in that one. Shannon was here, didn't have the success. Went to a couple of the stops. Southern Miss was another one because that's what school I was gonna go to. Wasn't successful, but now successful at Miami. Same thing with Brad White and Bush Hamden. As I look at plays as individual entities, not just a whole umbrella. Brad White is going to run a different concepts on this umbrella at Florida. Like people forget what we ran when we had Jamin Davis, Derek Jackson, Boss Man at corner. The scheme was a little bit different. Same thing was different if we remember when Trevin Wallace in the beginning a couple years ago of a season where he was able to do things with Trevin Wallace with Derek Jackson behind him that he couldn't do it after Trevin Wallace got hurt. A little different scheme when Carrington Valentine was playing corner. A little different scheme when you had God damn it. Nah, because he's one of my favorite safeties. Can't think of the safety now. We I'm not gonna look it up. So that to me is what made Brad White so special as a DC is being able to craft his calls and concepts around his talent level. Like I said, if you before I'm just new on TikTok, so TikTokers, you wouldn't have heard this, but like I've said on Twitter, on the locker, on my broadcast, is that the secondary was a concern for me. Not Mike Edwards, the other one, Perks, um, bigger safety after Mike Edwards. Corker. Thank you, Phil. Yusuf Corker. Yes. Like when Corker was safety, we play a little bit different. I don't think Brad White called Mike Edwards seasons. I think Brad White might have been the defensive the linebacker coach, but he wasn't the DC, I don't think. So different talent levels, like Eddie Gran was able to mold different schemes. Um with different talent levels. Brad White next year at Florida is going to run the same umbrella, but it's going to be different. And what's going to happen is people going to say it's because of Sumrall, not because of Brad White. Same thing with Bush Hamden. Bush Hamden is going to Mississippi State. Mississippi State has a freshman quarterback. That is a dude with the ball in his hands. Not the most accurate quarterback, but he can kill it with his legs. That's the perfect quarterback for Bush Hamden. So next year at Mississippi State, the success of Bush Hamden might be a little different than it was here. So now we are going to see what can Stein and company bring to Lex Vegas. And I'm going to say this. I want people to understand when I say this. This is no shot, shade, whatever. Is that just because a coach has a footing in Texas doesn't mean those Texas players are coming to Kentucky and probably not the best players. Because here's what I'm going to have y'all understand. The same way in Florida and California, but definitely Texas. There are so many really good football teams in Texas. it's hard for those guys to lead the state of Texas. You got Texas, Texas A&M, you got Texas Tech, you got SMU, you got TCU, you got UH, you got UTSA. And there's more. You got Rice. There's more to it, but there's the levels. Like you can go big time football. If you're not recruited as big time, you can go. There's so many options there that it's hard to get kids to lead the state of Texas. So just because a coach has a footing in Texas doesn't automatically mean that those kids are going to come to Lexington. Even though I've said many times, if you get a kid to go to Lex Vegas, because it happened to me, if you get them to come to the city of Lexington, you have a really good shot of keeping them there. Let me answer some of these questions. What I got. Braden says, how should I feel as a UF fan that DJ is transferring? I've heard UK. Braden, this is what I'm going to tell you about your situation. When you bring in a new offensive coordinator, in coach, etc., you have to allow that coach to give the keys to the guy that he feels trusting of. I think the DJ Lagway issue is a little bit interesting because I really don't think that. I don't want to say this because I don't know what DJ feels. I really don't. I'm gonna say this. DJ, as I've heard from Jacquez Green, some other greats that I follow, is that DJ has not participated in off-season workouts because of injuries. Because of those injuries, and I think DJ was no one dual threat coming out of high school. With those injuries, I don't think DJ wants to run. And it's hard for me to say this because I am contradicting myself a little bit because I don't know what Faulkner wants to do. All I know is Faulkner, while he was at G-Tech, Haynes ran a lot. Is that the base, the foundation of his offense? If it is, DJ Lagway is probably like, man, I don't want to do that. Let's see whom he can get in the portal. I actually like the backup quarterback y'all have. I know he's a junior because he played against us, Jones Jr. or something like that. I actually like him, Braden. I don't know if he fits Faulkner either, but I think you need to allow Faulkner to get the type of player and quarterback that he wants, and you can get that from the portal. Do you think Stein will call plays year one? I think Stein, cool beans, if I'm saying that right, I think Stein should call plays. I am always of the belief that if calling plays is a skill set that got you hired as a head coach, you need to continue to use that skill set because calling plays is an underrated skill set that many people understand, but I don't think people truly understand how much of a skill set that is. Like to call plays is extremely difficult, especially on offense, because you cannot call a play 326 F whatever, call the play, look at the result of the play, and then get back down on your score on your play sheet. You got to be able to make calls before the play is over. And on top of that is the underrated thing is in college with the hash marks, you got to understand where the hashes are and understand that maybe I need the formation to the boundary or to the field because it makes a difference. Play calling in college, man, is underrated. There are only probably 10 to 12, I say 10 to 15. Let's go this. I'm going to be generous. There's probably 10 to 20 elite level play callers in college, but everybody think that they can find one. It's not easy. To find an elite level play caller is not easy. And sometimes the elite level play callers, for example, Gus Malzahn is an elite level play caller. When you don't have the right tools in the shed, it makes you look stupid. Hugh Freeze was an elite level play caller. When you don't have the right key to the door, it doesn't work. Hugh Freeze failure in Auburn is purely because he could not identify a quarterback. Do you think Stein goes after Lagway? I would say no. But Lagway did pass well in high school. You know, if you and the KSR guys are going to do a football podcast anytime soon. Dylan, I'm not sure. That is not my call. NIL and transfer portal ruined CFP. That's a hard one for me, Kerrigan, to say it completely ruined. I'm not sure it ruined it. Baylor. Okay, Patrick, that's a good call. UF seem to have a small exodus right now. UF should have a. If you bring in a new coach, and here's the thing I'm gonna tell you, I don't think John Summerall is going to keep players that he don't think is worthy of staying on the staff or staying on the team. It's gonna be interesting, but every year there's gonna be attrition. But even when you don't change a coach, when you change a coach, I think it's gonna be even worse. Garrett, how are we feeling about UK basketball? Y'all, I'm still of the opinion is I can't judge this team until they get all the pieces of the puzzle on the board. I keep bringing this up. I'm a Laker fan. Been a Laker fan for a long time. Two teams I followed since I was a kid, Houston Astros, LA Lakers. If you remember, the Lakers won in a bubble. The Lakers became a better team when Rondo came back on the team after his injury, and he allowed everybody to go to their natural role, their natural position that fit their skill set. It was only one player. I think we saw when Mo came back. You saw when Lowell is playing. He's getting his feet wet, getting back into the flow of the game, how different this team is. Like I asked Anthony White on the locker last Wednesday, hypothetical. What if we had the full team healthy day one? What would the record be? The record would be better. I can say this: they would have won the North Carolina game. Now, would they have won the other ones, the Gonzaga game? Probably not. I don't know. But here's the thing: people need to understand this too: is that um, momentum is huge, and I still subscribe to that. If the 40-point games, I'm trying to look at the. Oof. All right, man. I'm gonna say this. Of that Louisville, Michigan State, UNC, I mean Gonzaga game, I think they win one of them with fully healthy guys from jump. I think they win one of them. I'm tempted to say they win two, but I think they win one with a fully healthy team. I don't think they win the Gonzaga game, but I would say that they will win one of those three. I feel comfortable about that. I do believe Jared Smith is coming back, given his recent post, still hoping on Ty Bryant. I will say this. This is what I feel about guys leaving, guys staying. If those guys stay, I feel even better about those guys staying because that means the coaching staff want them to stay, and the coaches and Bateman feels comfortable with Smith being a part of his defense. How about his brother? Is his brother staying? Um, let's see what happened with Ty Bryant. That would, and as I've looked at it, I think safety is a very, excuse me, is a very important a position for Bateman defense. Um, we'll see. It'll be nice if he stays because he's a in-state kid. I think he bleeds blue. We shall see. Cool beans. What I've seen from a safety position, I, I'm gonna say this. Take it with a grain of salt. I haven't dove down right really into it, but it reminds me a little bit of Seattle. Heavy on cover three, um, getting that extra safety in the box, um, some movement. Let me look at it more because here's the hardest thing for me because what I want this is what hurts me about what I like to do is I don't have access to film. Because what I would really want to do with Bateman is look at the Army film. The same thing with Will Stein. I would really like to look at the UTSA film because one, they said that Echo took over the defensive play calling this year. Second of all, Texas A&M has great players, talent wise. Oregon has unbelievable players, talent wise. I need to see how they run their scheme without the best talent consistently against the team that they face at the institution. So UTSA did not always have the best talent more than their opponent. Army, definitely didn't have it. So I want to see how they call plays with the talent level I think that we will have at Kentucky and comparable to other SEC teams. I do agree, Stein, like it's important. I just figured guys like Brian Ben are SEC keepers. Dylan now is a two-way street. that's the amazing thing about football now as a player. Is it's more than just the coaches want you. You gotta want to stay too. So with the ability to leave and play right away, does Ty Bryant wants to stay? Here's the thing I'm gonna say too. Is this y'all? Coming from a player standpoint. If I'm playing and I was coached under Mike Archer was a DC, Rick Smith was my defensive back coach my whole all 4 years, then became DC and defensive back coach. If my junior year, Coach Smith left and went somewhere else, and I was able to leave Kentucky and he went to a good spot, let's just say Florida, and they bring in a new coach, I don't know him, he never recruited me, I don't trust him, I would probably find if Coach Archer is coaching somewhere in college and I didn't feel good with the defensive coordinator hire, or it just doesn't feel right, I'm going to find a place Archer's coach, and I'm definitely following Rick Smith, because I trust him. I know that, especially in my last year, I know that they're going to do right by me. So for me, it'll be hard for me to stay at Kentucky being from Louisiana. because I have no ties to the city. Now the positive you have Ty Bryant has ties to the city. His dad he's a legacy player. Like all that matters. But for me, only reason I came to Kentucky was because of Mike Archer, and then I formed a relationship with Rick Smith. Those two guys are key to me. And if they both left in today's society, I would leave. Because I tell you something. When I wanted to go to USM, and the defensive back coach, this is the funny thing about it. The defensive back coach, Gage, yes, I played at Kentucky from 93 to 96. The defensive back coach at University of Southern Miss only lasted 1 year. I would have played for Coach Withers 1 year. The reason why that's so strange is because my senior year, this is what's crazy. So if you watch, if you're an old guy or old Kentucky follower, there's a play where it was fourth and short, maybe. Third and short. And I was the corner in a boundary on their sideline. I made a great play, and I looked to the sideline. I said, that looks like Coach Withers. Didn't think much of it because I'm like, he ain't there. He's at Southern Miss. This is the day and age where, cell phones, none of that was in. Internet was just kicking off. So after the game, this MF comes up to me like, Coach Withers, like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, why are you not at Southern Miss? Which then made me at that moment realize that I truly made the right decision. Everything in my recruitment went how God wanted to be, because I would have been pissed if I was at Southern Miss and Coach Withers left. Because he would have been one of the main reasons I want to go to USM. So now, with guys, Ty Bryant or Souls or Humphrey Gray, well, if they're going to keep Coach Stu, Humphrey Grace might stay. Who else? Jordan Love is a senior. Addison or Nichols. If they trust them guys that just went to Florida, they might follow him. Dylan, I don't talk to Coach Stu like that because I don't want to put him in a catch-22. I really don't. That would be conflict of interest. Because you know what would happen? If I did get really good inside information, everybody know I got it from Stu, and then that will put him in a trick bag. So no, I don't do that. I don't think Florida's trying to play UK football. I wish we could play Florida football. Because one thing somebody's going to get is he's going to get some of that talent back to stay in Florida. I it's scary with Coach Collins going, who's a good recruiter. He doesn't have to worry about the defense. It's gonna be interesting. The thing about it is Florida going to invest in football like they should? Because it's not that Florida doesn't invest in football, but Florida is, you think about it, should be one of the linchpins in SEC football. Are they willing to invest to that level? Are they willing to invest in the ratio that Vandy increased their investment in football? We're going to see. Because here's the thing. Not anyone can win in Florida. I think that has been proven through the Muschamps and the McIlvain and the Ron Zooks. You know, I think it's been proven that not anyone can win at Florida. Um, Although Mullins maybe shouldn't have got fired, but like you have to be able to uh, invest back in the game. I think Kentucky's gonna play fun. Look, I'm gonna just tell y'all something. GG, you just got something. You just tweaked something in my brain. I'm gonna read Dylan's, and then I'm gonna get back to. In all seriousness, like that, we kept Anwar simply for the familiar face, for who we do want to. I agree that Dylan. Here's what y'all that just peaked when Gigi said this. Florida is well. I think Kentucky's gonna play fun, reinventive football. Florida's close to the prowess of a program like LSU. I honestly, I honestly think the only thing different between Florida and LSU is Florida is not the only team in town. LSU is the only team in this state. Florida has, if you want to just say the major ones, FSU, Miami, USF, UCF are problems. Florida Atlantic can be a problem. Like there's too many options. It's like Texas. There's too many options. And Louisiana is only one option. So getting back to what Gigi said. You know when Gigi said this, reinvented football, you know what it got me back to? After my coach got fired and they brought in Hal Mumme. Hal Mumme brought an innovative offense, but that defense sucked after having a really good defensive coordinator in Rick Smith the previous year. I still wholeheartedly believe this. If they kept Rick Smith, they might have won the SEC championship that second year with Mumme. They would not have only won. I think they only won 4 games the first year of Mumme. They would have won 6-7 games that first year if they kept Coach Smith. That I'm fearful of. I have PTSD because of that. You're going to bring in this great offensive coordinator. Is the defense going to be able to carry their weight? With Coach Smith, it was the coach that Mumme brought in. With Will Stein, is he going to have the players to fill a good defense to match what he potentially can do on offense? That look out for that. I like Mullen that Florida just wasn't willing to make necessary change to sustain success. I think Florida expectations were so high that Mullins wasn't able to reach it consistently. Because let me look at that. Because I think that man had good football seasons, like 9-win seasons. I thought, but it just didn't. They just were not happy. Dan Mullins, 10-3, 11-2, 8-4. Then the year he was fired, 6-7. He was 5-6. Like, I'll have to see what that. Oh, the 8-4 was during COVID. That was how they win. How they play 12 games? Did they play? They must play in the SEC championship. So hold on, let me look at that. If they play in the SEC championship and went 8-4. Yes, they play in the SEC. See, that's some bullshit. I'm gonna just tell y'all this. Florida fans, y'all messed over Mullins. Now I don't know what happened the next year in 2021, but that man went 8-2 in an all SEC regular season schedule. He was 8-2. He lost the last 2 games, which is an SEC championship game and a bowl game. He was 8-2. All 10 games were SEC games. That makes no sense to me. Let's see what happened in 2021. Did they have injuries? Was Mullins with the what's the quarterback? with Trask and what was the guy who played in front of him? Oh, Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson. Then Anthony, yeah. That see, Florida messed up. So 2021 was the year after Trask and Pitts. So 2021 was Emory Jones' year and Anthony Richardson's year. If they would have let that man get to 2022, they might have been all right. That was a bad move. That was a bad move. Who coached in 2022? Billy Napier. That was a bad move. I know now we are just doing less talk. Ooh, we have 40 minutes, y'all. I'm gonna get off here soon. Work? No, I do not live in Lex. I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Gigi said got fired mainly because he refused to fire. Oh, that's true. All right, Todd Grantham, y'all. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Gigi, that's fair. Todd Grantham is on the complete different end of the spectrum than Brad White. Wow. Yes. Okay. That's fair. Um, I'm gonna end with this since we're at 40 minutes. See, I like Napier as a coach. Um, it just didn't work out at Florida. He hated recruiting. See, but a coach doesn't have to like recruiting if it's the head coach doesn't have to like recruiting if it's the guys under him are recruiting well. Like that makes no sense to me. If he look, yo, Steve Spurrier did not like practice. Steve Spurrier was like all these people who get upset with coaches with the playing golf. Steve Spurrier played golf all the time. That man practices were not long. We're just gonna lead right into what I wanted to end and to end with. Wow, worst class at UF was ranked 12. That's what I'm saying. The head coach doesn't have to like recruiting. Here's the thing. Perfect thing. Fans have no problem with the antics of coaches when they are winning. Like no one knew Coach Spurrier was hitting the golf course. No one knew Coach Spurrier practices were not long back in the time where you can have practice as long as you want before the 20-hour rule. No one understood that. Gigi, 8-4, they were 8-2. Don't say 8-4 because that's the whole bad part about that. Gigi, they were 8-2 after regular season. See that 8-4 makes it look bad. They were 8-2 after that last game in the regular season. Not there's only a handful of teams that played 12 games that year. Because that means you had to play in a conference championship in a bowl game. There's only a handful of teams that played 12 games that year. 8-2 was elite. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're right, Gigi. That team was elite. All right. Antics, y'all. Doesn't matter when you're winning. The shoot toss LSU game was bad, Gigi. That was that year. So they were really 9-1. All right. So this is why I say this. When Coach Stoop was winning, when we had that little period of time, we won 10 games in 2018, 10 games in 2021. Coach Stoops was going to Jeff Ruby's and doing all the things he was doing when we won 7 games and 7 games in 22 and 23. But at one point, the Jeff Ruby thing was endearing. Oh, he's out with the people. Him and Vince are out with the people. He's like a all that stuff. But when the shit went to the fan, now it became a negative. So I want people to understand, coaches are coaches. We are creatures of habit. Athletes and coaches are creatures of habit. Just because that man was going to Jeff Ruby's, they have no bearing on the team wins and losses. Practicing harder, practicing longer does not equate to wins. That's just like working out longer and harder does not equate to weight loss if you have bad nutrition. On a positive note, favorite game memory UK before you. My favorite game memory, Dylan? I mean, shit, y'all. Look, now I'm going to be on 10 more minutes. Y'all, my favorite memory, and it comes back to Steve Tannehill death today, man, which hit home for me. Played against Tannehill. I think Tannehill was a grade above me. Watching Mo run through that defense like he did. Dude, I don't think people don't understand that everybody in the stadium know that Mo Williams was getting the ball, and Mo Williams ran for 299 and another 100, I think, passing and kickoff returns and touchdowns and all that stuff on the road. And the reason why it's also a big memory is I had the game-sealing interception. So for me, the greatest moment was that, man. That game at that time of year in 1995, coming off a 1-10 season. And now I'm going to even talk longer. That game was big for us. I think at the time we lost to Florida. Then we won that, so they made us 1-1, I think. Because I know it was early in the season. Because we always lost to Florida. And that Florida game, we got drubbed. So to come back and win a road game was huge for us. But that 95 in that rain and watching Mo just demoralize that defense, man. I want people to also understand this. Because you look at the score. Don't get it twisted. I think it was 35-30. 35. How you get the... Hold on. I know they missed a field goal. Something like that. Something like that. 35. Let's say 35-30. That football team, I appreciate that, GG. That football team in 95 might have been the best team I played on. The 93 team was good. That 95 team, we had some dudes on that team. And we should have won more games. That team should have easily been 7-4. And I will say this. Having listen to Tannehill die today, man. Having a guy in your demographic and your age range die, man, it's hard. But that 95 season, I want people to understand this. I didn't play the last 3 games. Concussion. And not to be cocky, but every player feels like if they could have played, they could have made a difference. There's 2 things in that game. We played Tennessee last game. We should have ended 6-6 at worst. 2 things happened in that game, I think changes the outcome of that game. 1, if I'm healthy. Two, if Billy Jack doesn't get hurt at the end of the game. Jeff Speedy had to play maybe the last 2 to 3 series. And maybe that game was 35-30. Or maybe both games was 35. If Billy Jack Haskins finished that, I want people find the video of that 95 game and understand how tough Billy Jack is and was. Billy Jack was playing on one shoulder. That touchdown run, and I think it was third quarter, was unreal. See, like I said, I'm going to listen. This is the shit that pisses me off about narratives. There's a whole bunch of shit. Now, see how you can trigger somebody? There's a whole bunch of shit that has been said about Uzelac fucking up Tim Couch's career without addressing how it fucked up Billy Jack's career. I want people to understand, Tim Couch broke records of whom in high school before getting to Kentucky. Those were Billy Jack's records. Billy Jack was a damn good passer of the football. But he gets to Kentucky, stupidly, in my opinion, he comes to Kentucky, runs the damn I-bone, then he goes out of I-bone, he goes to damn the Uzelac sprint option shit. Fucks his shoulder up for Kentucky. The guy is not given enough due. He fucked his shoulder up because of the Uzelac offense. That guy should be taught like the Andre Woodsons, the Jerry Lorenzens, the I guess you can say the Heartline, the Terry Wilsons, the Stevie Johnsons, Steven Johnson. I said Stevie, Steven Johnson. Like, people don't understand what that kid sacrificed to stay at Kentucky. And people do not put enough respect on BJ's name. Billy Jack was a dog. And unfortunately, he was a dog for the wrong offense. Once y'all go back, if you get a chance, I know it's on YouTube somewhere, watch that 95 Kentucky-Tennessee game, the entirety of the game, and see how well that guy played. And if he doesn't fuck his shoulder up, I think we beat Tennessee and we're 6-6 and we're going to a bowl game. And that changed the whole perception, because I want people to understand the 93 team was ahead of schedule. The 94 team, we had a teammate assassinated in the summer that affected that season. We came back in 95. I'm gonna pull up. I want y'all to understand that 95 team were dogs. And the record doesn't show it, but we should have beat Georgia. I know. We had Tennessee on the ropes if BJ in or I play in that game. So, y'all, it's not 95. Let me get to 95. 1995. Yeah, Joe. So, we lost to Louisville 10-13. Should have won that game. Yeah, we did beat South Carolina 35-30. We lost to Georgia 3-12 in Athens. We lost to Vanderbilt 10-14. And I didn't play that game. I didn't play the last 3 games. Lost to Vandy 10-14. We lost to Tennessee 31-34. And we got a field goal blocked at the end of that game. So I want y'all to understand, 10-13. So there's 1, 2, so that's 12. 3, that's 16. 4, it's 19 points. We lost 4 games by combined 19 points. And that Tennessee, was it Tennessee game? Did we get a turnover in the Tennessee game? Like, there are certain things happen. I want y'all to understand. That team was easy as 7-14. Easily. Longest game you ever played in? I don't know, man. It's hard. I'm old now. I forget. I know South Carolina was rocking back in those days. And we played Auburn on a Thursday night game. And I remember that rocking too. On those 2 games that immediate come to mind, Florida was loud too. Had my damn sister doing the damn gator chop. She was 12 years younger than me, so she was young. I was like, she was like 5 or something. But she didn't know any better. All right, y'all. That's almost an hour of me rambling. Look, I'm gonna say this to all y'all watching. You know what, y'all? I forgot all about my Twitter people. I'm sorry, y'all. It got blocked. I gotta answer these Twitter and YouTube. What do you think of the difficulty of the schedule, Steven? Yeesh, it's a bitch. It's a bitch. But you don't know until you see the teams play. Because is Vandy gonna be good? Is Missouri gonna be good? You don't know. Will Stein dead play? Okay, okay. That's nice. Feel like Stein is trying to get Louisiana. I don't, Woody. Like, I'm sorry, Woody. I'm late to answer your question. I'm not sure that gonna be tough, man. I don't think people understand. Like, Louisiana kids want to play for LSU. Can you get some kids to come? Sure, they're not gonna be the top kids though. I find them using the LSU Ole Miss versus LSU. Patrick, the Ole Miss versus LSU thing is not new. I don't know what Ole Miss call LSU, but I know LSU people call Ole Miss Ole Piss. So that's a natural rival. Florida won't be elite as long as Georgia is. I don't agree with that, Brandon. Um, there's still so much talent in the state of Florida. I just don't maybe believe that. I think John Summerall can ingratiate himself with the high school coaches. He can keep a damn. Florida has no problem with talent anyway. Man, what do you think about Bush Hamlin basically outscoring Sloan versus coming opponent? No, man, peanut butter, don't do that. LSU had injuries. Nussmeyer wasn't healthy, but that's a good number. Bush Hamlin is not a bad play caller. Is he elite? No, but he's not a bad play caller. Doesn't matter how many plays Stein draws up if you don't have depth. Don't get to that level now, peanut butter. All this year you were complaining about the coach. Now you want to say the players. You coming over to the dark side. Back when it's yes, peanut butter, yes. South Carolina, that stadium was rocking. I think about Billy Jack that way. 95 versus UT full game on YouTube. Steven says 95 UK versus UT full game on YouTube. Watch that game, y'all. We had a safety playing corner. George Harris played a damn good game that Saturday. Shit, that was his last college game. He played corner. He was a safety. I truly believe if I was playing corner, because that game we played a lot of people at corner. We played George. We played Tony Woods. We played LT. Like, we rotated a lot of guys in that game. And they held their own. That's the same thing, like I said earlier, with basketball. One guy can can cause a problem in that whole game. John, you say you caused a fumble in that game? John, who the fuck are you then? You caused a fumble. All right, y'all. We're at an hour. I can talk for 3, but we gonna get off here. I still haven't talked about the shit I wanted to talk about last week because I got some about Diego. Now it doesn't hit as well because the Heisman Trophy has happened. I feel like Diego should have won. But there was some on Twitter. I might still come back. Yeah, the punt return. That was a good one. And we, jeez, yes, I remember that like it was yesterday. What happened to Billy Jack? The same thing that happened to Dusty Bonner. That is a good point, Brandon. Brandon, that is a great ass. I got to tip my cap to you on that one. It is similar. Very similar. And I know for Billy Jack, when Hal Mummy came, all Billy Jack wanted was a true competition. That's all he wanted. He just wanted a fair shot at being a starter. And he didn't. And he had to leave. So that's my guy, man. He got messed over. And I think Billy Jack, if he would have went somewhere else, would have had a better career than he had at Kentucky. But you can't say shit bad about Billy Jack around me because I know firsthand the kind of leader he is and what he fucking went through. His, I guess, 4 years at Kentucky. He redshirted, but his 4 years at Kentucky, that's a dog, man. So, all right, y'all. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna start doing this again. I think I'm gonna be around 10 to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, unless I say not. So if you like it, I'll be here tomorrow, hopefully at 9 or 9:30. We can talk for, I don't want to go too long, y'all, because it's late. I'll go an hour tops, 30 minutes to an hour. I can talk for 3, but it ain't worth it. Because it's late for a lot of people. So go to YouTube, Driving with Styles. Go over there and subscribe. Get your boy up to 1,000 subscribers. It's free. Follow me on Twitter. Give me up. I'm at, I don't know what I am, 7,000 followers. Give me up to 10K. Bring a friend. TikTok, I think I'm at 3 something. Give me up to 1,000 there. So at TikTok, I'm VStyle17. At Twitter, I'm VStyle17. YouTube, I am Driving with Styles. Go hit your boy.